Hi, and welcome back to Channeling Beauty. I wanted to give you an update on my blepharoplasty. So I am 4.5 months post-op, and in my last video, I had talked about primarily three things that were remaining, which was the longer eyelid on my right eye, the left eyelid having a thickened scar, and then some areas of hyperpigmentation from the CO2 laser. So those are the three things that were and actually are still remaining, with one resolving a little bit more than the other. So my right eye that has the longer eyelid, it is still, I don't know if you can see this really well, it is still asymmetrical. What my surgeon is thinking is that because this one is still tight because of the scar, that this one will kind of drop a bit and even out with the other one. To be honest, I don't think that's true. I think that it's probably the way it is. And she probably knows that as well. And when you look at yourself in the mirror repeatedly, first you see all of these imperfections, in particular after surgery. And over time, you just stop seeing them. And I think that surgeons sometimes bank on that. Over time, you just don't notice that anymore. With other procedures that I've had, I've also, I'll start recording some videos about them, but I've also had that too, where I'm like, oh my God, this is so asymmetrical. And then at the end of the day, it's still asymmetrical, but I just don't think about it anymore. So I think they probably kind of bank on that a little bit. But when she measured the eyes, she was no longer telling me, oh, that's not the case, which is, if you've watched any of my other videos, you know that that was what she was saying for a while. So, or that it would even out. It's not really the case anymore. So the other thing is on my left, this one, the scar is thickened and raised still, but it is flattening. It's about 80% improved from my last video. And what I am doing is what I actually saw on another surgical website, is just rubbing the scar. And I rub it, honestly, you're supposed to rub it with very light pressure. I do it with medium pressure, and I do it about 10 times a day with clean hands. And it seems to be flattening it for sure. So definitely what she told me is that she tried to make a crease with sutures. I don't know why she didn't try to make a crease on this side, on my right eye, because if you notice, my right eye is kind of, the eyelid is kind of flat, right? I mean, it doesn't seem like there's an obvious crease, whereas on my left eye, my right eye is flat, that one, and on my left eye, it's got an obvious crease. So, it may just be one of those things, that's where it ends up. And the truth is, within a couple of years, the eyelids begin to sag again anyway. And so it's kind of like whacking moles, and you just have to eventually accept that it's as good as it's going to get. If you have ever watched any of my other videos, you know that I actually had surgery to remove filler that had migrated into the orbital space in my eye. So that's why I did this to begin with. On this side, so the surgical sites were not even to begin with, but I think the measuring wasn't even either. That's my gut instinct, and also a little bit of knowledge. And then the last thing is the hyperpigmentation under my eye from the CO2 laser. So, that generally resolves within 1 year, but that's a strong price to pay, right? Because a lot of surgeons recommend yearly CO2 lasers. Well, if it's going to take a year for the hyperpigmentation to go away, then you're basically living always with hyperpigmentation. So, I have started multiple rounds of IPL, intense pulse light therapy. There's a red and a brown filter on an IPL device. So I have obviously targeted it with brown, although my esthetician says that she can see some vascularity, meaning that there's some blood vessel components underneath my eyes as well. So we'll probably hit it next time with the brown and the red and try to remove as much as possible. And overall, do I notice an immediate difference? No, but it's just been one session, probably 3 to 4. There's also some people believe vitamin K helps. Maybe it will. And then other people think that cortisone helps, right? So just check with your surgeon and see what they recommend, or your esthetician, whoever did your CO2, and see if you do have some ideas on how you got rid of CO2 laser hyperpigmentation, please share in the comments. I would love to try your ideas. For those of you that have been watching my quo videos, I've actually been using your ideas. And I know you've been using some of mine too. So it's really, what this is for is to be able to help each other, right? Deal with post-op, post-care, recovery, side effects. That's my whole goal here. So if you have any ideas, please share them. We'd love to know. But other than that, you can see my eyes are really tired. I haven't slept well in a couple of days, but you can see the outcome. I'm pretty happy with it. I mean, I definitely, even though I haven't what is referred to as an extended scar out here and here, which was to lift this area here. The only other option, by the way, is an eyebrow, an upper forehead lift. And I didn't want to have all of this area numb and have surgery, you know, and stitches in my head and so on. Yeah, so the alternative is that, and which is what a lot of people try to avoid, is to have sutures and an incision that extends. But if you can hide it in the crow's feet that are there anyway, it's really not that big of a deal. I did finally get my first baby round of Botox. I call it, well, it's being referred to online as baby Botox, right? I've been calling it that for years, but I don't like the full 50 units, 40 units in the forehead. I hate that frozen feeling. So I just have them use like 18 to 20 units in my forehead. And I still can move it, and I still have wrinkles and so on. Move my hair and you can see, but not extensive. But you do have to do it more often when you don't have that many units. But it didn't interrupt the surgical site, which is what the surgeon did not want. She didn't want, you know, there to be weight here, right? And then her to not be able to tell anymore what was happening. So she was happy I only did that many units, because you really don't alter the surgical site at all. So I would say for me, waiting at least 4 months, which is what I did, was important. But you can, you know, talk to your surgeon. A lot of them do it even right after the procedure, right? So it just depends on who you go to and what their protocol is. So as always, follow your surgeon's advice, and, you know, we can share here, and look forward to learning what you all do, what you think of these results. You can be honest if you think they're what you would expect or not. And I know a few of you have said on my other videos that you just had it, or you're during post-op and you're during recovery, still during your recovery and so on, which is great. I'm excited for you. I hope you have great outcomes. And yeah, that's all. So that's my update on blepharoplasty with CO2 laser. And if you find these useful, I would love it if you could hit the subscribe button. It will help me continue to grow my channel. Have a wonderful day, evening, night, whatever it is on your time zone when you're watching. Take care.